Well, g'day Harbour Church Growth Groups. This is Tom Batty, and this week we're looking at Hebrews chapter 7, verse 1 through to 8:2. It's a big one. We're looking at Melchizedek, so buckle up. First section, I'm going to cheat just a little bit, and let's import the already done section. He wants to say Melchizedek is really important and superior for lots of ways. King of Salem, priest of the Most High God. He met Abraham in Genesis 14. You can read about that later if you want. And he blessed him, and that was kind of exciting. But the big thing that he wants to say here is that Melchizedek is without father or mother genealogy, but in a similar way, resembling the Son of God, and I think the resembling is key to understanding Melchizedek here. He continues as priest forever, right? He's got a forever priesthood. Okay, and so after this, the author wants to then conclude and say, hey guys, check out how great this man was to whom Abraham the patriarch gave such a tenth of his spoils. And in a sense, this line here, see how great this man was, is going to be the real key kind of line that's going to intro the rest, because he's going to talk about Jesus as similar to Melchizedek in a whole bunch of ways. Okay, now to qualify how great this man was, he's going to talk about two groups of people, right? The first one is the descendants of Levi. Okay, those descendants of Levi who received the priestly office, they have what? They have a commandment. I'll just move this over so you can see a bit of a difference there. They have a commandment in the law to take tithes from the people. Okay? That is, they are to get those tithes from their brothers. That is from their brothers, even though they are the same. Though these are also, these also are descended. It doesn't quite fit on the same line, but you can pretend it does. Descended from Abraham. Okay, so that's the first one. Let's contrast that with this man. So who's this man? I think that's Melchizedek at this point. This man, who does not have his descent from them, what does he do? Does he take tithes? No. He receives tithes from Abraham, okay? And he did something else as well. And he blessed him who had the promises, okay? So see that contrast there? Descendants of Levi, they take tithes. But this man, he received tithes, therefore he's heaps superior. Now, the author's going to conclude by giving us a general statement. Now, it's beyond dispute. Everyone knows that the inferior, right, this is normally blessed by the superior, and the most superior person in the Old Testament for them was Abraham. And so you would think that Abraham would be blessing Melchizedek, but in fact it's the other way around. Melchizedek blesses Abraham. What? Okay, that's going to be helpful for understanding Jesus. Now, in the one case, the tithes are received by mortal men, but in contrast to that, but in the other case, by one of whom it is testified that he lives. And so I think that's talking about his eternal nature, in that we don't know his father or mother. Now, one might even say that Levi himself, this is where it gets a little bit dense, Levi himself, who receives tithes, you could say that he was actually paying those tithes when he was living inside the loins of Abraham. Yeah, makes sense? What? For he was still in the loins of his ancestor. Yeah, let's just pop that on the next line. When Melchizedek met him. So it's like Levi was kind of giving tithes to. Anyway, it's a bit funny. But now that that's all done, and he set up the superiority of this guy Melchizedek and the way that he continues as priest forever, and he's able to do that because he is superior to the priests of the line of Levi. Now he's going to set up a few problems with the current priestly system, and current as in current in their day. And now all of the things that are problems, I'm going to color code them. I'll pick this color because I don't know what color it is. That's a problem for me. Okay, so the first problem is, now if perfection had been attainable through the Levitical priesthood, okay, we want tab, that'll be better, for under it the people received the law, then what further need would there have been for another priest to arise, one who is after the order of Melchizedek, rather than one named after the order of Aaron? Does that make sense? So the first big problem that we've got is that Levitical priesthood couldn't bring perfection. Okay. Next big problem that we've got, when there's a change in the priesthood, okay, from Levi priests to Jesus priest, there should also be a change in the law as well. But there is no change in the law. Where in the law does it say, oh, and by the way, there's going to be a priest in the order of Melchizedek? Nowhere. Okay, so that's a problem for us. For the one whom these things are spoken belonged to another tribe. Do you know which tribe Jesus belonged to? It was a tribe which no one has ever served at the altar, okay, for good reason, because the law never said that you're allowed to. Now, it's evident that our Lord was descended from Judah. What? He's not a Levite. How is he allowed to do that, right? And in connection with that tribe, Moses said absolutely nothing about priests. So, this, like the other section, is all a problem as well, okay? Now, the problem becomes even more challenging when another priest or a different priest arises who is in the likeness of Melchizedek. Where does it talk about Melchizedek? Who has become a priest not on the basis of a legal requirement, as in it says nothing in Leviticus about this concerning bodily descent, but how is he able to become a priest? It was through the power of an indestructible life. Okay, so that's all a problem there. Now we're going to get up to solution time. Why is Jesus able to be a priest without the law? Well, it was witnessed of him. It was spoken of him in the Old Testament that you are a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. It says this in Psalm 110, and I might make this blue as well. That's a bit more satisfying than the other problem color. Let's pop it just there. Maybe I'll do that. For on the one hand, a former command is set aside. Why? This is important. Because it was weak and it was useless. Okay? That's pretty strong language. For the law made nothing perfect. Now, on the other hand, a better hope is introduced. See that better theme that keeps coming back? Through which we draw near to God. Yes! We've been learning all about this the whole time. So, the other one is set aside. Actually, I'll make this bit blue because I've got the blue bit already up there, and I'll make this one orange because that's a problem, okay? Or orange, whatever color you think that is. And this was introduced not without an oath, okay? For those who formerly became priests were made such without an oath. They didn't have a divine utterance from God in Psalm 110, but this one was made priest with an oath by the one who said to him, "The Lord has sworn and will not change his mind. You are priest forever." Okay, see that forever connection that's going on? Same that he established at the beginning here. Jesus is like Melchizedek in that he has a high priesthood that continues forever. Okay, that's what we're up to down here. Now we're going to move into the next bit where I cheat because I've already imported in. And so it says, in conclusion, this makes Jesus the guarantor of a better covenant. What is a guarantor? Check it out in growth groups. Now, old problem, lots of priests, they kept on dying, but Jesus, he holds his priesthood permanently because he has conquered over death. And so, therefore, he's able to save to the uttermost those who draw near to God through him. Why? Because he always lives to make intercession for them. Something that the old priests could not do. Okay? It was fitting that we should have a high priest who is holy. What does that mean? Innocent. What does that mean? Unstained. What does that mean? Separated from sinners. What does that mean? Do you get the idea? They're all kind of similar. And he is exalted above the heavens because he has no need like the other priests to offer daily sacrifices. Why? because his sacrifice was heaps better than theirs. His was the once for all, where he offered his perfect self up for you. Now, the law appoints men in their weakness, but through this word of the oath, which came later than the law in the Psalms, there has been a son who has been made forever. And so to conclude, I really like this bit here. He says, now the point that what we're saying is this: we have such a high priest, one who is seated at the right hand of the throne of the majesty in heaven, a minister in the holy places, in the true tent that the Lord set up, not a man. All right, what does this mean for our lives? Catch you later.